Hello, welcome to this video on GDP, Gross Domestic Product. And the point of this video is to explain clearly what GDP is, because GDP is going to be a central feature for this class and for the textbook that you're reading after the music stopped. And it's essential that you know exactly what it is, because GDP basically is a measurement of the economy. And if we're going to study the economy, we have to know what it is. So let's get started. I want to start with an example first. I want you to think about being invited to a party. Now, here we see a scene from San Francisco. These are four nice Victorian homes. And let's pretend you are invited to four parties. And each party is a party for each one of these homes. So you're invited to 1, 2, 3, 4 parties for these four homes. Now, you can't go to all four. So you have to decide which one you want to go to, and you have a very simple goal in mind. You just want to avoid the party that's not very good. You don't want to go to a party and find no one's there, very boring, and you can't leave because the host would be very offended if you just stopped in and left. So what you want to do is find out something about the party. In other words, you want to estimate party activity without actually going in the house. So let's pretend you're standing right by this tree right here. Now think about this for a second. What could you do to try to estimate the party activity in each house? Well, one thing you could maybe look at the people coming and going. That's one measurement. Maybe listen for music. That's another measurement. Um, Maybe even smells. If there's a smell of nice food coming from an apartment, from one of these homes. Maybe looking in the windows, seeing if there's movement, people moving around, lights, that sort of thing. Now, all of these things that we've just mentioned, all of these are certain indicators of parties. Um, and we all know that if we relied on only one of those indicators, let's say music, for example, let's say this yellow house, you hear really good music coming from this house, and you go inside and you find out that there's no one there, just one stereo and one person. Now you could see that music misled you. You thought that this was going to be a good party, but it really wasn't. But can you imagine a very good party without music? No. So even though music is essential, you can't rely on it by itself. So let's continue this analogy. So here's the party. So again, here's a stereo. Music could be coming from there. People walking by the window. That's another indicator. The laughter coming from the party. That's another indicator. So there are many things that can indicate if a party is good or not. Now, if you wanted to put up a numeric measurement of party activity, a lot of you would be very, very hard pressed to figure out how you would actually numerically measure a party. But all of you, if one of you were standing in this room, you would know if it's a good party or not. You don't need to have a measurement to tell you it's a good party. Okay, keep this party measurement in mind for our next example. So let's say you are standing in Canada and you want to measure the economic activity in the United States. So this is kind of similar to the party example. Remember how I asked you to think about you're standing outside of a home and you want to measure the party inside? Well, here you're standing outside of a country and you want to measure the economy, economic activity, not party activity, economic activity inside. So what could you measure to estimate the economic activity in an economy? Well, we're going to pick only one measurement for economic activity, and that measurement is output. So if the economy is producing more things, goods and services, we say the economic activity is increasing. If the economy is producing fewer things, goods and services, economic activity is decreasing. Now, if the economy was like a factory, it's going to be very easy to count output. You simply count the number of automobiles, let's say, rolling out of the factory. So in this particular case, this factory produced 3 automobiles. So if next year this factory produces 4 automobiles, economic activity has increased. Simple. You're measuring output. We got a little bit of a problem when it comes to measuring output for an economy, because an economy produces more than one thing, like automobiles. Let's take 2 things: automobiles coming from this factory and apples coming from, let's say, a farm. Well, here's the automobiles. We can count those: 1, 2, 3 automobiles, and we can count the apples: 1, 2, and 3. Now, if we were just looking at output, how much activity took place? Well, you could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 items equals economic activity. But the problem with simply counting output is it takes more activity to bring an automobile to market than it does to bring an apple to market. So if we only count physical units, we will not be adequately accounting for the activity needed to bring that good to market. In other words, we need to count output, but we also have to assign each unit of output a certain weight to reflect the activity to bring this to market. And there's a very simple way of doing this. So let's think about this. Let's use Q to represent output, Q for quantity. And what we're going to do is we want to count Q, but we have to give each Q certain weight to reflect the activity it took to bring it to market. And we're going to use something very simple: the price paid. The theory is, higher the price, the more activity it took to bring that good to market. And so if we take P times Q, we're going to get a value measurement of output. And that's exactly what GDP is. Gross domestic product is the value of all output produced. So, and by the way, we call this nominal GDP. Nominal GDP is a measurement of output value without any consideration for changing prices. And I'm going to explain to you why that is important. Because let's say the value of output goes up. Now the question is, what caused GDP to increase? Was it because of Q, or was it because of P, or was it because of both? You don't know. Remember, we only want to measure Q. Q is our goal. P, we only use that to give each Q proper weight. Now you can see a bit of a problem. If P goes up and Q remains the same, nominal GDP will go up, and that will give us a false signal that economic activity has gone up because Q really hasn't changed. So what we need to do is we need to hold P constant. If P is constant and then the value of output goes up, we know it must be due to an increase in output. And that's what we call real GDP. Real GDP is a change in Q, holding P constant. So a nice little memory tool is real GDP is a change in real economic activity. So the key here is to remember GDP is a measurement of economic activity, and the activity we're using to represent the economy is output. That's it.